How's it going, Yankee fans? My name is Alex with my co-host here, Ryan Garcia, and that was a shit show, for lack of a better word. The Yankees just fell to the Boston Red Sox. Obviously still hold a monstrous lead in the AL East, so am I worried? Not really. But there is a debate to have about Jameson Taillon, who now has about 5 consecutive outings that were pretty poor. And today, Yankees had a 6-2 lead, and he just starts getting absolutely hammered at the home runs. He did not look good out there. He hasn't looked good in a couple of weeks. His ERA is above 4 now. Gave up 7 hits and 6 earned runs today over 5 innings. He gave up 3 homers. Look, Boston's a decent team. They have a good offense, but when you have a pitcher like Jameson Taillon who was dominant, for the first 2-3 months of the season, this is kind of unacceptable. And then you see Aroldis Chapman come in there, DJ LeMahieu, couple of issues catching balls over his head, kind of needs to learn how to backpedal. I don't understand why he has to catch it over his freaking head every time. But interesting game. Yankees did lose this one 11-6. A lot to kind of break down, Ryan. What was your impression? What are your takeaways from this one?
I think the takeaways are, the Yankees they're gonna go get a starting pitcher. I think, we saw the rumors with Castillo a couple weeks ago, and a lot of people were questioning why. Well, that's why, right? We saw Hicks over the weekend. He played great. I think you look at that, and that's a positive, right? Especially since the Yankees are linked to Benintendi, and apparently the price point's really high for him. You don't have to be desperate and make a big time move at left field. You can kind of figure out a way to platoon or something. Where you don't have to go out and make that big investment in left field. You can go out and make it at starting pitching position. Castro, I'm not too worried about. You look at that first hit, it was ground ball to IKF. That I'm sorry, you're major league short. You're a defense first guy. You got to make that throw, man. That's a throw. I played high school baseball this year. That's a throw my high school shortstop's making, right? Pretty confidently without the hop. And if he does make it with the hop, it's on a better hop. Like, you can't be a defensive specialist and be so bad at making those plays. I know he had a couple sparklers, but you're a defensive specialist. I expect little to no errors, right? I expect when LeMahieu makes an error, right? Like when he made that error, it's like, oh, wow, he made an error? Wow, I didn't expect that. Or yesterday with Donaldson, it's like, wow, Donaldson didn't make that play. That's easy for him. With IKF, there's no, this is unexpected. It's happened so much at this point where dude's just not cutting it. The bats aren't great, all that stuff. The offense was fine tonight. I know they scored, they lost, but they scored 6 runs. I'm not really moved by they need more bats or something. The offense was fine tonight. You pitched when he came out the pen. Taillon stunk. Taillon, didn't make any adjustments. He kept throwing cement mixer sliders down the plate. How do you expect, Vasquez hit one for a home run and you throw another over the plate? Like, what do you expect to happen, right? Then you throw a cutter right to JD Martinez in the very next pitch and he goes a yard. What do you expect to happen when you're not making adjustments? Nestor didn't make adjustments, and that really bothered me where he was just throwing inside, and the Red Sox kept teeing off. Monty mixed it up well, and that's why he pitched well. Am I moved? Am I upset? Am I distressed with the season? No, I don't really care. But I just think for Taillon, for his sake, for the future with this team, he's got to learn how to make adjustments. Much better than that.
Yeah, man. I mean, the starting pitching, it wasn't an issue. I don't think it is an issue right now, but I do think that, Domingo Germán coming back in a couple of days here is going to help. The fatigue is setting in. You can tell. Like, Nestor Cortez has only pitched over 60 innings once in his career, 70 innings once in his career. And it was last season. He's already at 88 this year. And these guys' arms are just not, injuries happen, but fatigue also is a very real thing. And the Yankees pitchers are kind of experiencing that right now before the All-Star break. They desperately need that break. And the bullpen, man, I mean, we could go on all day about Aroldis Chapman. The guy's walking batters. He does not look good. The occasional decent inning is not good enough for a guy who's a Hall of Fame closer. When you put him in the game, you expect him to make pitches, expect him to get out of innings and not walk batters and load the bases. I know DJ had a say in that, but it's disappointing. We need Ron Marinaccio back. We need Jonathan Loaiza back. We need these reinforcements, and we need them very soon because these guys are just getting destroyed offensively. Or rather defensively, pitching wise. And like you said, IKF not being able to make that throw, had a single that drove in a run. But again, he has no power. There's just there has to be other options out there. Honestly, Oswald Peraza, I think we discussed this a couple of days ago. I think Nick and I discussed it yesterday. Oswald Peraza deserves a shot on this team. IKF is not capable of being a everyday consistent player. He's just so inconsistent in multiple categories. What are your thoughts on giving Peraza a chance at shortstop?
I think it's the right move. He's a better defender, probably. And here's the thing, right? And I tweeted this out, right? People want to say, "Oh, well, in October, IKF's going to make those tough at bats and get pitchers to have to worry about the contact." Well, if I'm Justin Verlander, right, what am I worried about with IKF? He's going to hit a single the other way. Okay, I'll strike out the next guy. I'll get the next guy out. I'll get him to into a double play or something, right? Am I really, how can you sit back and say IKF provides value to this offense when there's no threat of him doing anything other than hitting a single? He can't break a game open. He can't swing the tide of a game massively with a extra base hit or a home run. He can't do any of those two things. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people are going to give me flack in the comments because he's, his batting average. Oh, look, the contact skills, harp on Gallo. Gallo's didn't start tonight. Gallo's a platoon guy now. Gallo doesn't play as much anymore, right? Why is IKF not getting his playing time cut? Even Marwin, right? There's the threat with Marwin that he can go yard. There's the threat. That's all I need. I just need a guy who has the threat to at least do it, because you can't have a guy in your lineup who cannot do anything other than hit the ball just past an infielder. In October, teams are going to be shifting more aggressively. They're going to be putting their best defenders out there. They're going to be making many more defensive plays in the postseason than you would see in the regular season. A lot of those ground balls are not sneaking through. Look at the Atlanta Braves. Look at the Dodgers when they won the World Series. Look at the Nationals or the Red Sox or the Astros. Those teams out-homered everyone they played. You look at when the Yankees lost in 2020, they got out-homered by the Rays in that series. I think it was like the Rays hit like 20-something home runs. The Yankees got 12. The Yankees got smoked in the home run department that year. But against the Astros, how many big home runs did they hit against us? You think about Tuve ambushing Severino, Josh Reddick getting one off Severino, the big home run that Tanaka gave up to Springer, right? Those are World Series caliber players, right? World Series caliber bats. IKF is not a World Series caliber bat. I think they could win a World Series with IKF at shortstop. Don't get me wrong. They've been, again, phenomenal this year. Very good, amazing. And IKF's been the shortstop all year. But do they want to win a World Series, or do you want to have a great chance to beat the Astros in the playoffs? Or do you want to have a 50-50 shot and leave it up to chance? I am taking Marwin or Oswald Peraza or Joey Wendell or Miguel Rojas or any competent defensive shortstop that is a far better hitter than IKF, because it's really easy to find those. IKF's just not a good hitter. Oswaldo Cabrera, he's rehabbing right now to come back and go play in AAA, and he was a great hitter when he was healthy, right? There are a slew of guys that I will take to play shortstop from August 2nd to the end of the season and in October before I'm taking Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. He hasn't made the routine plays consistently. He doesn't provide you that comfort value. The defensive metrics are inconsistent on him. DRS and outs above average completely disagree on him. The offense is not great. I don't care about the contact skills. He's not giving you a tough at bat. He's not working walks. He's not doing any of those things. The contact skills they're non-existent to me. I don't care about them. All right. I care about having a good at bat and having productive at bat and driving runs in and, putting yourself in a position to win baseball games. And IKF does not do either of those things for you, nor does he provide you the defensive value. And you can find someone who can run the bases elsewhere. You can find it. Someone else can run bases for the Yankees. They let Donaldson and Rizzo steal. I'm so sure they're going to crumble when they let Oswald Peraza steal, who's probably faster than IKF. So
it's like 30 stolen bases this year.
Yeah, and what? We're going to talk about how, we need contact. Peraza's got a decent hit tool. Peraza's got more power. Peraza's a great defender. Peraza's a great base runner, right? He does everything better than IKF. I don't care. Oh, well, he's unproven. You don't want to mess with the mojo. The Yankees are not here because of IKF. They're here in spite of IKF. They're here because of Aaron Judge, because of Giancarlo Stanton, because of DJ LeMahieu, because of Garrett Cole, Nestor Cortez, the pitching, the bullpen, all that stuff. They're not here because of IKF. So when I know I'm going to see at least one comment talking about IKF to this, IKF that, and how, he's integral to this team. No, you can shake things up. If this team loses a bunch of games because IKF is in the clubhouse, there's way more wrong with this team than whatever we're talking about baseball wise. That would be, that's not an excuse. There's no excuse. None.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have to make a whole separate episode just on IKF, but I'll tell you what, it seems to me like the Yankees should have swept the Boston Red Sox. You know what I mean? Like, offensively, they played well enough to win these games. They blew them. Yesterday's game, completely blown. The bullpen obviously blew that game. Today, Jameson Taillon just got absolutely hammered in the third inning, and the bullpen just did not look good. Chapman and Castro, off days for them. Even though Albert Abreu came in 2 innings, struck out 2 batters, and allowed 1 hit, like he actually looked pretty good. And like we've been saying, dude, like Albert Abreu is low key, like pretty solid, and he can be a contributor down the stretch, at least more than Roldis Chapman, so it seems. But I don't know, man. Like I agree with you. I think IKF definitely is a liability in most categories. He doesn't offer you that much. The occasional single just isn't enough anymore. You know what I mean? As a base runner, he's okay. You can get more out of guys like Peraza, giving them the experience and the reps. The worst case scenario, Peraza has a couple of good games in the major league level, and then you trade him for whoever it's going to be, whether it's Ian Happ or Brian Reynolds or Luis Castillo. Like you get a little sample size, but maybe if he starts playing really well, you're like, hold on a second, we don't want to trade him. We'll give up somebody else. Everson Pereira. Like there's other guys the Yankees can flip, and if Peraza starts looking good at shortstop, I think they got to give him the chance. Like, I get that they might they can't even really ruin his value over such a small sample size, but they should give him a shot. But this team definitely going through a rough patch in the pitching department. Boston definitely was intense. They wanted to win these games more than the Yankees, so it seemed their offense really came alive. But I'll even throw in this though, umpire dude. Wow, I haven't seen so many consecutive missed calls in such a long time. Like, Sawamura, that entire first inning he had, every strikeout was a ball. The one to Stanton was absurd. Like, it's just getting insane. Like, I'm at this point, I'm so much in favor of the robo umps. Like, I can't watch this anymore. It's just a disgrace to the game on both sides. Even if it was happening to the Yankees, if it's against us, like I can't watch this anymore. The human error is just becoming absurd. It's just like, it's not even like fun to watch how bad these calls are.
I think I know umpires have gotten a lot better since like the 80s and 90s. Like I can't even, you think of the Marlins Braves in the NLCS, Livian Hernandez throws some insane game, and every single strikeout he has is like in the other batter's box. But I agree with you on the sense of like umpires have to start being able to make adjustments on these taller guys. Like that's not great. That's a bad look. We have a large sample size of data of umpires missing those calls. Like there has to be an adjustment made. You said it where the Red Sox offense came alive. I think they're the best offense we've played outside of Houston this year. Pretty confident saying that. If we want to crown the Red Sox, again, I said this after Houston series, we want to crown the Red Sox for splitting against the Yankees at home. Sure, crown them. I mean, they're 14 games back. I'm not going to crown them. They should be happy. Now, I will say this. Red Sox fans, if they're happy about this, absolutely. The players, yes, of course they're happy about this. They didn't lose the series to the Yankees, and they're in a playoff race. Every game matters to them, right? Like this isn't like even if they're in last place, like that, this is a rivalry still, right? These are the Yankees and the Red Sox. I completely get being happy. Like I had no problem with the celebration after the walk-off. I know some Yankee fans had a problem with it. I really don't care. I think it's fine. They can do whatever they want. You don't want it to happen, win the baseball game.
We do the same thing.
Yeah, I believe we're off Monday, and we play the Reds after. So it's Reds then Red Sox. So you're gonna have a nice day off to kind of recharge. Get all your bullpen guys all rested up. I think Herman's probably gonna get activated at some point. I'm not sure for who. I look at the bullpen. I'm like the one guy who I just don't like. Chapman He just can't. He can't do it, man. I'm sorry, he can't. He just can't. But
they can't DFA though.
No, they can't. Why can't they?
I think it's more. They have more like the respect. I think they just have too much respect to DFA him. I wouldn't care, but I think Cashman.
They DFA'd A-Rod.
Yeah, it's such a long time ago. I don't know. Maybe.
I guess the way I see
I'd be surprised.
is like, here's the thing. Like, let's make this simple. $16 million to have like a negative WAR for you, or $16 million to have zero WAR for you. You take zero WAR because you're not
wrong. Right? I get the numbers. They make sense.
Like the numbers make sense, right? Like he drops your win probability, right? When he pitches, he consistently overall in the season has hurt your chance of winning baseball games. Paying for him to not have an effect on baseball games is a net pause. It's an addition by subtraction. I'm not going to ramble too much here because we could make that an entire new episode, and I'm not going to ramble too much.
Let's talk about it tomorrow.
Yeah, my thoughts on Chapman are just we'll keep that for tomorrow. But overall, I don't think Yankee fans should be too concerned about the team. They should just like, hey, I think we kind of know what the Yankees' needs are, and it's get a starter to replace Tyone, shortstop, figure it out, and get your guys rested up pitching wise. It's gonna be good. The All-Star break's gonna be good for the Yankees because Cole and Nestor are probably not pitching in the All-Star game because of how the rotation's set up. So get some rest and roll into New York, ready to play Cincinnati and do a job.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, This is a tough loss, but like you said, we have such a big lead. We can afford to lose games like this and bounce back and get some days off. And really, get these guys healthy. Like reinforcements are on the way. Cashman obviously knew this was going to be an issue because the Luis Castillo news came out like 2 weeks ago before we really realized that the starting pitching was going through kind of a tumultuous few weeks here. Like we were like, okay, they're going through like a little bit of a cold streak, but then then you see Tyone today and you're like, okay, like they're actually dealing with something. So I think like the Castillo news was like, okay, Cashman knew this was coming. The fatigue was going to set in at some point. So is what it is. We'll see what happens. We got the deadline coming up in a couple of weeks. We'll keep you guys updated on everything as always, my friends. But if you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like and subscription as always. We'll get you guys some more info tomorrow on Aroldis Chapman, break down his numbers, what we think they should do with him. Maybe a little IKF video. There's a lot to talk about, a lot of different pieces that likely need to be moved and some tough decisions Cashman and Aaron Boone are going to have to make. But I'm excited to discuss them as always. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll catch you guys on the next Fireside Yankees episode.